Alright, so we are sitting here in front of the finally finished and upgraded new leopard gecko enclosure. Now this is not a complete bioactive setup just yet. The next reptile show I attend, I plan on picking up the microfauna and some leaf litter to add to the environment here, but for the most part we are pretty much done, so I felt like it was time to show you guys what I have been doing. So as you can tell, and the video will show later on, I do have live plants. We do have loose soil, and I know for some that is a big issue, and the concerns of the animal becoming impacted and potentially dying from that. And my thought is this: I believe that animals die with impaction, but I don't necessarily believe they died from impaction. So with that in mind, I went ahead and I'm going with a loose substrate, but I did try to minimize the likelihood of her eating too much substrate by placing a food bowl inside the enclosure for me to put the mealworms and such to help, eliminate how much substrate she potentially could eat. More on that though as as I show you the progression of the build here shortly. But so I hope you guys enjoy. Obviously, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below and I will answer them the best that I can. And so let's go ahead and get into the build so you guys can see how this is done. Okay, so now that this has had 24 hours to dry, let's go ahead and take a closer look at what it looks like, and then let's see what it needs to be done. So one of the things I did was, you seen me use duct tape to originally hold this, but I ended up just siliconing it into place, and of course that is the temperature probe, because right there below that pipe is the heat mat that we placed on the bottom side. So that way I can keep an eye on how the temperature is going to be inside that tunnel. So the heat mat is on this side here, but she can regulate her temperature by the placement where she is in the tunnel. Over this, into this corner here and a little bit down, you can see the heat mat, so that's going to be the hottest spot, and then she can work her way down that way to kind of regulate the right temperature. And then over on this side of the tank, I have placed another PVC tunnel, and I capped the other end because I didn't want any substrate falling back in. But I did something differently on this one, and you can see, when you look in that tunnel, you can actually see that light down there. That's because I cut a channel in the bottom of that PVC pipe, and the ideal is this could act more like the humid hide, whereas once the substrate is in back here, because this is just going to act like a barrier or a berm to hold back the soil. That's the moisture is going to be able to is going to seep down through the soil and come up underneath this pipe, and then so my ideal is that this is going to be more of a humid hide type setup. And of course she can also hide in this log. We've created this section here, and she can go right down up in there. You can see the light. And then also, if we look at the top over here, she can go into that part of the cork tube as well. So that's essentially 4 different hiding locations if she so chooses. And then this is also elevated here and there. So if she wants to bask for UV light, she's only going to be about 5 to 6 inches away from the light. So if she feels like she needs it, she can go ahead and bask to receive it. Now over here are the plants that I have collected over the last week, probably last month and a half. And these plants are what I'm going to use inside this new vivarium setup for her. And eventually I will get springtails and isopods to make this a truly fully bioactive substrate. So let me get the camera set down, let's add some substrate, let's add some plants, and let's see how this thing is going to take form.